Yo, what's up everyone? My name is Andrew Warren, and in today's video, we're going to be doing our daily transparency update as usual. If you're new here, that just includes me talking about the portfolio's gains or losses for every single stock market day. And then as always, of course, we have to talk about Tesla stock, especially with a lot of things potentially happening tomorrow and Monday, which is S&P 500 inclusion. And I'm really interested even to see just what happens after all of this as well with the next couple of weeks after all of this madness. So like I said, tomorrow is a huge day for Tesla stock, and I have to admit I'm almost more interested to see what happens tomorrow on Friday rather than Monday itself. I feel like we will have a lot of people making some big purchases possibly tomorrow. Then again, it just depends. There could be a lot of people making big purchases, but if there's some institutional investors and some retail investors selling a little bit off as well, it just all depends on that level of supply and demand. Are there going to be more people buying tomorrow than selling, or is it going to be the other direction? However, I have to admit in general, I'm pretty bullish on tomorrow. And of course, just keep in mind we're talking about short-term movements, which are really as unpredictable as it gets. Long-term is a lot more predictable, and it's much easier to confidently have real predictions on the long-term future. And I'm very confident of where Tesla's going in the long term. However, like I said, with predicting tomorrow and Monday, everyone's guess at this point is as good as mine, but I would not be surprised at all if tomorrow ends up being a pretty bullish day. However, it's just one of those things where regardless of whether it's a huge move upwards, a huge move downwards, or whatever happens tomorrow, it's going to be interesting to watch unfold no matter what happens. And this is really an event that is going to be solidified in history, I think, with tomorrow and Monday and the weeks coming afterwards to people to look back on in history to compare to future events in the stock market. But regardless, it's going to be entertaining. I honestly don't mind if it goes either way. Of course, I would much prefer it to be a really bullish day tomorrow and Monday, but if it ends up taking a notable dip on Monday or something like that, then I'm certainly going to be taking advantage of it. I'm going into this with a positive mindset, but also being prepared for any situation, and I really think that's one of the best approaches to this. If you're a Tesla bull and if you're someone who is confident in this company, it's obviously okay to be bullish and excited about this week regardless of what happens, but you also have to be prepared for pretty much anything. But anyways, of course, as always, if you enjoy the Tesla videos and the transparency updates, please make sure to smash that like button. We'll get into that conversation a little bit further later on in this video, but as you can see with the portfolio, we are at a value of $261,659.75. That is near an all-time high for the portfolio, I believe. And in the normal market hours today for the portfolio, we had a plus 5.87% gain. That is plus $14,704.72. And then in the after hours, which are currently closed, we are at minus 1.32%, which is minus $3,506.38. And that leaves us currently for Tesla stock at a share value of a clean $648 per share. Gotta love it. That's just satisfying to see with that perfect even number. And by the way, we did hit an all-time high share price for Tesla stock today. As you can see, December 17th, the high for today was $658.82 per share. And if we compare that to previous numbers, for example, we had this high right here of $654.32, $651.28, $648.79, a few here and there that are close to this number, but today was actually another all-time high record share price for Tesla stock. And on top of that, not only did we get an all-time high share price, but we had a record all-time high close for Tesla stock as well at $655.90. And comparing that to the previous ones, as you can see, we have a few here, $649.88, $641.76, here was one at $639.83. So a lot of records have been broken for Tesla stock today, not just an all-time high number and not just a record close, both of them. And actually addressing the portfolio before the after hours drop, that means we had an all-time high with the portfolio as well today. So a lot of major things happened today. All-time high share price, all-time high record close, all-time high portfolio value, although we have gone down a little bit in after hours. So Tesla is making moves as expected. Really, I was expecting a lot of the action this week. I knew that Friday was going to be big. I knew that Monday was going to be big regardless of the direction that the stock moves. And I was expecting Thursday to be pretty big as well, just because you're going to have some short-term traders and long-term investors and institutional investors maybe trying to make some big moves early before this big Friday date. And obviously I had no idea which direction Tesla stock would be going, but I was expecting Friday and Monday of next week and Thursday of this week to be some pretty notable days, just because we have a lot of anticipation and speculation, some people potentially selling off with the short-term trades, and then a lot of investors buying in as well based on a lot of the hype around the stock right now in S&P 500 inclusion. And it was just a matter of the question of, would the demand be higher than the supply? And judging based on a lot of the perspectives from the long-term Tesla investors, most of us Tesla shareholders that are in it for the long term, and for me personally, no share price could convince me to sell any of my shares right now. Even if Tesla instantly hit $1,000 per share tomorrow, which I'm not saying that will happen, I'm just saying in terms of an example, even if it hit $1,000 per share tomorrow, I would not be selling a single share of mine. And I think there's a lot of investors out there. Some of them would likely be willing to sell based on the number, but there's also a lot of long-term investors out there like me that would simply rather not deal with engaging a taxable transaction once it sells, and then you lose a little bit of that capital that can be used for reinvestment and compound interest because it's later due for taxes. So with that in consideration, I think there's a lot of investors out there like myself that wherever the share price goes in the meantime, they're not selling, and that can have an effect on the supply in the sense that if there's a lot of demand but very little supply, of course some of the supply can come from short-term traders and people that aren't in it for the long term, but once that supply is exhausted, or at least a little bit of that supply, then all that's left is the people that are willing to hold it and are not even considering selling shares. Yet we still have a lot of institutional investors in the S&P 500 that are needing to pick up shares, and all that's going to do is drive up the share price if that's the case. And that really gets me interested to see what happens with tomorrow, because I think if some people are making short-term trades, it just depends on their mindset, but some people may be trying to sell off a little bit early tomorrow. Some people may actually risk it and wait until Monday that are looking for some short-term money, and I don't know what could happen with that. But in terms of the long-term investors like myself that don't plan on selling a single share, then it's going to be pretty difficult for that supply to meet the demand if the supply is low and the demand is high. Therefore, we could likely see the share price go up a little bit if that's the case. However, it's just a matter of how many people are willing to sell their shares in consideration of the potential demand for Tesla stock on Friday and Monday especially. But overall, I have to admit I'm pretty bullish about this situation, and I can't say for sure where I think Tesla stock is going on Friday or Monday. However, I do think that there's a good possibility of Friday actually turning out pretty well for Tesla investors, just because of this last minute demand of a lot of fund managers and index fund trackers that track the S&P 500 that are going to be trying to buy as close as possible to the S&P 500, and it will just depend on that demand and supply in regards to whether the share price goes up or down. And just addressing the rest of the time frames for the portfolio, for the past week we are currently up $14,376.61. For the past month we are up 45.49%, that is plus $81,809.98. For the past 3 months we are up 57.40%, that is plus $95,425.98. For the past year we are up 154.01%, that is plus $158,647.90. And then for the all-time chart, we are up 154.90%, which is plus $159,008.37. And then checking out Tesla stock specifically for the normal market hours and the after hours combined today, we had a gain of plus 4.05%, which is plus $11,198.08. And then for the total return for Tesla stock, we are at plus 95.41%, which is plus $140,423.15. Adding on to this as well, just checking out the trend itself for the stock today, and also kind of addressing that point where we hit an all-time high with a portfolio. And yes, this little small $5 stock may be factored into this, but we get the general idea of the movement for today. But Tesla stock started out at 9 a.m. today at plus 0.75% in the pre-market, and then once the 9:30 a.m. time period rolls around when the normal market hour starts up, we had a little bit of a dip under the line. That was the lowest point of the day, and one of the very few points of the day where Tesla was in the red. That was at 9:45 at minus 0.46%, and then after that we instantly have a bounce back upwards to this point at 10:15 a.m. That's where we start to see some volatility here and there, with the general trend being upwards, and we had a little bit of a downturn at the midday around 12 and 1 p.m. and it started to recover with that and generally incline upwards, and especially around that last 30 minutes of the normal market hours from 3:30 to 4 p.m. it pretty much went parabolic, and at 3:55 we had a slight dip. At that point we had the peak of the day at plus 6.36%. The portfolio was valued at around $266,000 at that point, and then we had a little bit of a dip afterwards. The after hours have kind of declined a little bit since then, but as we always know, the after hours can change drastically when it comes to the next stock market day. Anyways, guys, I just wanted to share a quick little portfolio update with you all, and I will be discussing some more news that was released recently regarding Tesla stock and the Model Y especially, so a lot of excitement around that right now as well. But please make sure to smash that like button if you enjoyed this video, and definitely feel free to check out my referral links in the description below to Robinhood and Webull. You can get a free stock with Robinhood, and you can get 4 free stocks in total with Webull right now, 2 valued up to $250 just for signing up with my referral link, and then another 2 valued up to $1,600 for depositing $100 into your Webull account. And you should be able to take that $100 right back out after you get your free stocks. That's what I did, and it worked for me, so it's nice passive income with minimal effort, and it also helps support the channel, which I really appreciate. But anyways, I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your week.